How are you doing? My name is Joseph Ngugi. I'm one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind, where really it's our aim, purpose, to help pre-physical therapy students like yourself get into PT school without wasting a lot of time or money. If you are new to this page, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining the best pre-PT group that I really know of. But honestly, it's a platform where, as a pre-physical therapy student, you can feel welcome and comfortable and able to connect yourself with the best people that we know, but also somewhere where you can learn how to grow into. She hops on. What's up, Shanahan? How you doing, Alyssa? Meng, how you doing? Lisa, how you doing? Ooh, what's up, fam? How you doing? Hey. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, we're about to have a lot of fun tonight. Okay. I don't know if they're ready, but we have Courtney, we have Christopher, we have Dawnette, we have Sarah, we have Alyssa, we have Shanahan, Lisa, we got Mr. Patel. Oh, okay, all right. We got Miss Patel. Oh my goodness, we have a fired up crowd, and there's gonna be more people coming in. I am absolutely excited. How you feeling, fam? How you feeling?
I feel good.
You feel good? Feel good?
Yeah,
It's okay to be a little nervous too.
yeah, I know.
But like
This
I
always
told you
happens.
before, it's just you and I talking. These people just happen to be watching us, have our conversations. Ariana and I have, man, we've had quite a few conversations over the last year. And they're going to hear about it tonight. They're going to hear about
Hmm.
the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups, the downs. But I think it's important as pre-PTs for us to hear each other's stories. That's why we're so adamant about doing this series. And starting next week, for those of you that follow our podcast, we are actually starting an accepted system series where you're just going to be hearing for the next 2 months, like interview after interview after interview of pre-PT winners that have gone through the ups and the downs, everything from traditional to non-traditional, students that have been rejected multiple times, students that have gone in the first time, like really wherever you're at, it's already been covered. And so we have a lot of amazing things coming for you. So look out for our podcast episodes starting next week. Some absolutely amazing things really going into the first few months of the new year. So we have some amazing things for the new year, but tonight, Ariana, it's your time. It's your
Hmm.
time. It's your time. And really, Ariana's story actually starts in this group.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, kinda.
Sorta,
Oh shoot,
sorta,
my bad.
kinda.
My.
Her real story starts a few years ago,
Yeah.
but but for how it's gonna end, a lot of it happened here. And when you when you hear her story, I just want you guys to get lost in every aspect of it, because right now we're sitting on the other side of a very, very wide river that she's had to
Mm.
cross over a series of years. And and I know there's a lot of you that are still crossing that same river. For some of you, it's a little pond, so it's a little, it's a hop. It's pretty easy, but for a lot of you, it's a struggle. For a lot of you, the current keeps changing. For a lot of you, you have to keep switching boats, but you're still trying to get to the other side of that same river. So tonight, Ariana, let's let them have it. Let's just tell them the story. I mean, I know the story, so you don't. I mean, you don't. I mean, you can retell it to me in front of them, but
Yeah.
really tonight, we just want to share with them Ariana's story and really how you got to where you are right now. But before we begin, why PT? Like why why was this what you chose as your profession? Why have you been so adamant about doing physical therapy?
Yeah. Well, I've been pursuing physical therapy for a long time, longer than a lot of people, I feel. But to kind of give you a little bit of a background, um, growing up, I had always envisioned myself to be in a kind of a health related field. My parents kind of instilled that on me from like a young age, wanting me to be like a doctor and stuff. And
Mm,
just like do like a career that's very fulfilling and that is also going to make some money. So, um,
true.
yeah. So, so just I just like recall back always feeling that I wanted to make a difference in my community, especially in the Hispanic culture, the one that I'm a part of. So I just remember as a kid, my mom, for all of you Latinos out there who have like
Mm,
Hispanic parents that like watch Univision, which is like a Hispanic channel. um,
mercy.
yeah, so I remember just watching that growing up with my mom, and there was this commercial that would always pop up that would pretty much highlight or acknowledge a proud Hispanic. And so that they would always, it could range between actors to an astronaut or like a politician or just all these different kinds of proud Hispanics, and they would call them Orgullo Hispanos. And I just
Hmm,
remember watching that commercial and just always envisioning myself being on that commercial. and that's
mercy.
and that's what I wanted, like for my life and for everybody else, is just to be able to make a difference and be able to influence my community. And just a little bit of a flash forward, I was an athlete in high school. I did 3 sports. I did cross country, basketball, and track. And being a part of all these different sports, I was just very competitive and didn't really see rest as a thing. Like I was
Hmm,
just like a nonstop athlete. And my senior year of high school, I ended up developing a stress fracture, which humbled me a lot. And kind of like, this is why I say that it's always, or I always believe that um, that everything happens for a reason, because without that happening in my senior year, I wouldn't have started pursuing physical therapy. So yeah, I had a stress fracture in my senior year, and that's how I got involved with the profession. And I just love the aspect of having exercise and mobility and movement as a way to have like pain relief and rehab and just an alternative to medicine. And that's like something that I really ended up wanting to embody and wanted to teach to others as well, because what it had done to me, I wanted to be able to express that to everybody else. So
mercy. And
mm-hmm.
now, for first of all, I love the background story, but really that was the foundation for you. And I think um, there's a lot of people in here, a lot of pre-PTs that started that early, started much earlier. There are some that, like myself, didn't find out till a little bit later that we wanted to do this and why we wanted to do it. And I think really a lot of us just come from a very different background, but at the end of the day, we all want to be PTs. At least we're
Right.
interested in PT. But now you keep pushing further and you say, all right, let me lock in on this journey. I want to be a pre PT. I want to do everything that I can to, of course, get into a physical therapy program. What happened as you got closer to the first time you applied to PT school?
Right. So I graduated with my undergrad in 2015. And I graduated with like a 3.3 GPA, which isn't really the highest or it's not the lowest. It's just kind of an in between. And I'm from California, so it's a very competitive state. And the first time that I applied, I was just kind of, I was being very strategic with where I was applying to, just kind of looking, comparing with my stats and seeing what other people were saying. And I was being very strategic with it, but I did want to stay in California. So I did ended up like applying to a bunch of different programs. And I applied to like 7 or 8 programs, and I didn't get into any of them. But my first year, I wasn't really like, I was disappointed. I obviously wanted to get my profession started, but I knew that I was like, I had another year that I could probably pursue it. And that the second year, most people get in. So I applied my second year to about 10 programs, and I got a little bit luckier. I assume I was waitlisted for a few programs. I even had opportunities to interview with a few schools, and I came pretty close to actually getting accepted. But as soon as I started getting like those rejections rolling in, and I started to see those wait lists come into like my emails, I
Mm,
started getting really anxious, and I had a lot of like depression and anxiety because of it, because I've just been working towards this for so long. I also like have been doing so much within each year. Like I had to learn something different, and I had tried to do something else in order to make myself stand out. Like I also took the GRE 5 times in the last 3 years. So like it just like it was not just like me wasting, or not wasting my money, but me like putting in my money into these applications. But
yeah.
I had to do everything else along with that. I like put in all these extra classes just so that way I could bring up my GPA a little bit. I tried to get a higher score in the GRE, but somehow ended up just having the same score each and every single time. So I think it just definitely was like a big mentality thing for me. And just having like confidence in myself, because going into those interviews, I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. And I guess it showed. And they didn't really specifically tell me exactly why I didn't get in, but I'm assuming it had to do with something with my stats or something with my interview. So, yeah, that kind of like led me to just like, I think I was very stubborn with trying to seek help. And that pretty much just led me to the pre-PT grind page. And that's when I ended up reaching out to the community and sending in a comment. And I had Joseph reply back to it. And, that's how this journey started. So,
And well, we're about to jump into that transition, but I want us to backtrack just a little bit. You applied not one time, but twice.
right. 3
After
times,
the
if you
second
count
time,
this one. Yeah.
well, before you meet me, before you're in the pre-doc page, you had applied twice.
Yeah.
You knew that it was PT. You actually, honestly, you had a stronger belief that PT was your route than most pre-PTs do, because you had just started at an earlier, you had known it for a lot longer. For you, there was no doubt from the beginning that this is what you wanted to do. It wasn't like a secondary option. It wasn't like, hey, let's give this a shot. If it doesn't work out, well, no, like you were locked in on it. But you applied twice and
Right.
you don't get in. You mentioned a little bit about the anxiety that builds up. Of course, like you feel very down. There's the depression that sets in a lot of times as well. Tell me a little bit more about like what about the people around you? What was your family saying? Because I know for a fact that especially with my family, and if anyone that's watching right now can relate with this part, or even like either it's the fear of what happens when I'm rejected, or it's you've already gone through it and now you're struggling with the pressure, not only from yourself but also from the people closest to you. Because really, Ariana, like I know, for example, like from my family in particular, like there's a lot of added stress and pressure, like especially when it's a route that they don't want you to go. Because for me, like they didn't want me to do PT, so it's like, shoot, I can't screw up. And if I screw up, it's like now it's like, well, Joseph, I told you that wasn't for you, or I told you
Yeah.
like what. But now, even when they do know that you want to be a PT, even when they do know that you'd make an amazing clinician, they don't want you to. They don't want to see you go through that again. They don't want you to to try and apply again and fail. So what was that conversation like with the people closest to you?
Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely let like a lot of negativity get in my head. I had like family members that like they were in support of me, like somewhat, but just the fact that they kept seeing me fail and fail again, I think that they just wanted me to like start my life pretty much. Like I'm a um, first generation here. And so I feel like, especially my parents' generation, they have the idea of like, starting work at an early age, settling in your career, getting a house and things
Mm,
like that. So every time that I would speak to my parents about me not getting in or me like continuing to try and sending these applications and taking all these
yeah,
classes and things like that, they would just
yeah.
always kind of go back to the telling me that I should do something different, that it's just taking me too long and that I'm just wasting my time and my money.
Oh,
So, and I also had like my siblings, like it's just like different from different like areas. Everybody would tell me no, like, and not just the admissions, but it was my family members too. And it was like really like it was just really hard to um believe in myself because of that, because I mean I love my family and I want to listen to them, but at the same time like they're not living my life and I'm the one who's going to be living in this profession or living towards this profession. So yeah, I just kind of ended up focusing on that and never gave up on this idea of me trying to be a PT.
that speaks volumes about you, because I can tell you right now that at the point that I was at as a pre-PT, I don't think I had it within me to push that hard. Um, you have to understand something, and Ariana understands this. But for those of you listening, you have to understand that when those people close to you start telling you, hey, like maybe you should try something, they're not trying to destroy your dream. They honestly, like, in their perspective, they're trying to help you not fail. They just don't want to see you fail. And honestly, for our parents, they just want us to get a job. They're like, yo, she just start working. Like, for them, that's a sign of success. But really, for us, like, we honestly, especially when you're locked in on your dream profession, like, no one's gonna be there with me when I retire. Nobody's gonna be there with you when you retire, saying, "Oh man, you should have done PT." No, like, if it's your dream, you still have to go and get it. But I can honestly tell you that I don't think I was as strong as you were at this time last year. I don't think I was as strong as you were when I was a pre-PT. Because as I was going through that process, had like if our journeys were the same, I would have had a very, very hard time with pushing through. And honestly, it would have been my biggest regret because I don't know what I would have done. I don't know if I would have pulled the plug because of all the pressure. Like, being first generation is hard. Being an example in your family, whether you're firstborn, whether you're like, if you're listening right now and you're like, yo, this is me, whether it's pressure from being first generation, whether it's pressure from being the first one to go into medicine, whether it's being the firstborn, whether it's being, a cousin that is looked up to, whether it's being, the one child that kind of got their act. I mean, whatever it is, it adds pressure. But if that's you, just comment me because that adds to it. And that's why this community becomes everything. But it also says something about your, like, how much you wanted it, but also your grit and resiliency. And that's why I even talked about that in the, in this description. Your resiliency. You said, all right, okay, shoot. Like, all right, first time, okay, cool. Like, second time, that one stung even more. That one stung even more. So I got it, like, well, I still want PT. I still want to be a physical therapist, but, like, okay, like, I did my homework. You did. That second round, you put in some work. You said, all right, I'm gonna figure out, like, what I gotta do. I'll retake classes. My GPA is not the worst. Like, I'm gonna research schools. You research schools. In California, of course, because you didn't want to leave your home state. But you were like, okay, I see what other students are doing. Okay, cool. Like, 7 to 8 schools is not a small amount of schools, right? But still, there was something missing because when you applied, you got close. But still did not get accepted.
Yeah.
So you're like, most pre-PTs at that point would have been like, well, dang, I tried my best. Shoot, maybe I'll just go be an athletic trainer. Maybe I'll just go be, something close, but not quite physical therapy because it just doesn't seem to be working out. It just doesn't seem to be working out. So then 2017 ends. 2018 begins this year.
Yeah.
And you're still looking for answers. For some crazy reason, you're ready to go at this one more time, but this time you don't feel as much confidence as you did after the first rejection. You don't feel as much like energy. It's not like, all right, cool. I see what I did wrong. Let me just go out. No. You were like, all right, yo, I gotta get some help. So you posted in here. You posted the free doc page. I just happened to be by my phone.
Oh my God.
Literally, like, when things happen for a reason, I really do believe they happen for a reason. I just happened to be on my phone. I saw it and I commented on that. I think in there somewhere I said, like, reach out to me or message me at this, whatever.
Yeah.
And we started a conversation. Start us from there. What happened from that point?
So yeah, I posted that on Facebook. And when Joseph reached out to me, we just talked about how, like, your mentorship could help me and, like, the community that Pre-PT Grind has and what it could do for me. Because you clearly told me that I had done, like, so much already. And, it's just, like, I guess, like, fine tuning the little things and making myself stand out as a pre-PT that wants it really badly. So,
yeah.
yeah, so I ended up taking that leap of faith, and I joined the accepted system, and like I'm unregretful for that, because and I'm regretful for this last rejection that I had, because I wouldn't have met you or Casey, or been a part of like the community with like Ben and Ming and Jasmine, and just everybody that's just been like super helpful and supportive with
Yeah.
not just like what we're feeling, but like if we're going through like something hard with like our classes, or even helping me with the GRE and like little things like that. Like it's just nice to have people that understand your struggles and understand what you're going through, and that are going
Yeah.
through it at the same time too. Especially if you don't have it anywhere near your immediate community. Like I didn't really have a lot of people that I knew that were still pursuing physical therapy as long as I was, because I graduated a few years ago, and they either have already are in the brinks of already finishing PT school, or they just
Yep.
like completely decided to change their mind and do something different. So
Yep. Yep.
I needed to be around people that have still that ambition, and we're still willing to do what it takes in order to become a PT, just because they love that profession so much. And that's what I found with pre-PT grind.
And so now you joined the accepted system, which was a leap of faith, because really most pre PTs have never really invested in themselves in any avenue that's outside of just like school, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we'll pay for school. We'll get into a lot of debt. I mean, when you go to PT school, you'll be in like 50,000 to 100,000. I got classmates that have like 250,000 in debt, right? Don't let
Mm-hmm.
that scare you, but really, you saw this as an investment, and what was it for you specifically? What was it about that transition? What was it about getting into the accepted system and putting yourself around that community that made such a big difference? Because really, like, we're about to say some good news in a little bit about how this story ends. But for you, what was the difference maker specifically from the first two application cycles to 2018?
I think because I had joined this group, like I was opened up to so many different opportunities. Um, well, one, I joined Smart Success PT as well. And I was just able to network with not just pre PTs, but physical therapists that had the same ideas as me, as like, starting a business, or just like having that kind of ambition as I have. So just being able to be a part of this community, I was able to do other things that were different than, I guess, the typical pre-PT. Like I started writing blogs, I started making videos, I started just having like confidence in my abilities and my intelligence, and I was able to reach out to people that I probably normally wouldn't have reached out to. And so
Yeah.
just I just built like so much confidence in myself, and it just took away that anxiety that I had, and just kind of made me like reevaluate myself and think, why was I feeling this way when I know that I still have room to grow and be a better person, and just work on my personal development, and work like there's other things about me that are not just like the numbers in an application, or in a GRE test, or in my GPA. I'm not just that. I'm somebody that like wants more for the profession, and actually wants to make a difference. And yeah, it's just nice.
Yeah, no, it is having direction, having clarity on exactly how to go about it, having the right people around you, having a network of people that's like, yo, fam, like we get you, we fully get it, understanding like, yo, this is what we're gonna have to do to get in. So we go through this year. A few weeks ago, you happened to come down to Florida for, well, you were doing interviews, but
Yeah.
but we got to have dinner together,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of talk about the year, really just reflecting on how close we had gotten just from being part of this program, being part of this community, and just putting yourself out there and saying, yo, I'm willing to do whatever it takes as a pre-PT to set myself up. What would it mean? What would it mean? Now, you had only met me like when you came down here and Greg Todd, but you also had an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to meet some students that were in the accepted system with you as well. Like what did that do for you to go from where you were saying, yo, like I've seen these people online, I've developed these relationships with these pre-PT winners online. Like what did that do for you to take it from online to offline? Because I know y'all had your California meetup, and so like,
Mm-hmm.
what does that do for you, and what does that do for any pre-PT that is stuck, like trying to figure out, how do I keep going? How do I get direction? Like, what did that do for you specifically?
It's just crazy to kind of like meet everybody in person. And it's just kind of makes it more like you start believing that that you do have people around you that actually have the same goals and ambitions as you. So um, yeah, like having like those meetups and stuff, we were able to kind of start like, I guess, like start thinking about our future and things that we
Mm,
could do together, even like start a business and do things like that. And how can we like improve on ourselves? And it's just, um, yeah, just talking to like people like that just kind of gives you like a better outlook for your future.
yeah, no, and honestly, Ariana, that's why we're trying to get as many people this coming summer to come down to Florida. Make the
Mm-hmm.
same trip you made, come through, because we're trying literally this summer at, like, I mean, for those of you that have been following, there's a bit of a contest going on right now where tomorrow night we're going to be announcing the first, second, and third place winners, and the first place is getting a free trip, flight included, hotel stay included, free dinner with myself and KC, and a meetup with the man, the myth, the legend, Greg Todd. But really bringing you guys to Florida, to Clearwater, Florida, to Smart Success PT Live, which really is the biggest like physical therapy conference there is, but where a lot of other pre-PT winners like you are going to be. And right
Mm-hmm.
now, we're really aiming to have anywhere between 100 to 200 pre-PTs representing. And so you got to meet a few of them in person. Ariana, what does that do to everybody when they're like, yo, like I'm around several hundred people like this? Right now, we have a group right here where we have like 3.6 thousand people inside this community. If just 200 of them were in person, face to face, what does that do for other pre-PTs to be around other people that have gone through the same thing, to be around other people that understand the same struggles, to be around other people that understand the steps to get to where they're trying to go, especially when they're stuck as pre-PTs, because like getting into PT school is getting harder and harder, and that's why it was so hard for you the second time. But from your perspective, like what does that do to pre-PTs? Like why would that even be important for pre-PTs to consider?
Like if you like just think about like your surroundings and like if you're in an environment that is just like giving you like negativity or just like doesn't really have the same goals, like not necessarily like specifically, but like just doesn't have the same goals to work on themselves and continue to seek their better things for themselves, like
Yep.
then you're gonna stay stuck in that position as well. Like you're gonna be content
Mm.
with where you're at, and
Hmm.
um like I can already imagine like me just meeting like you or Greg, like just kind of seeing where you are at in your journey, because it's not just a journey as soon as you get into PT school, it's a journey beyond that and what you want for your life. Like this whole life is a journey. So like just seeing where you're at is kind of like an example of what I want to envision myself doing as well. And like if like seeing other people that have actually gone through it just makes it more of a reality that you can do it too, and that you can be just as ambitious and just as influential as everybody else that you're surrounded by. So that's why I'm going to SSPT. I just want to like be like
You already
starstruck.
know. Everybody meeting them in person, but it's gonna be absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. But let's conclude this story well for them, Mariana. You applied 2 times. You applied this time again.
Hmm.
Sometime last week, I got a message, right?
Yeah.
And it might have been by a girl named Ariana, and she she told me something. So walk us through that day for me.
All right. So just like letting y'all know, like I applied to probably like 9 schools this year. So I still applied to a good amount of schools. And I received like 3 rejections and a wait list in the last week. And so like that was all like within the last like few days. Um, and immediately I started feeling those same feelings that I had like before, like the like last year. I was just starting to
Yeah.
have a little bit of doubt, and I was just kind of thinking to myself like, I was more frustrated. I wasn't so like scared. I was frustrated because I know, like, now that I've been through everything, like, I know my value and I know what I have to give to the profession, and I'm just like frustrated as to like, why aren't these schools seeing what I have to give? So like, I was just like so like frustrated with that, and was really starting to think, like, is this really a number game? Is it because of my GP or my GRE? And I was starting to worry about that. And that day, it was like on Wednesday, I had received a missed call from one of the programs that they left me a voicemail saying that they had an important question to ask me regarding my application. And I
Oh
thought
boy.
that it had to be like my prerequisites, because I was already like in the brink of like having expired classes, and that's why I didn't get into one of the
Because the
schools.
years. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I had to really think about that too when I applied this year. And so I was worried about that. And before the end of the work day, and before like the admissions closed, I ended up calling them back, and she told me that, oh, I basically inquired on the question that they had for me. And she told me, she was like, oh, well, not so much that we have a question for you, but just wanted to let you know, like, congratulations, you've been accepted into the program. And like,
Let's freaking
I was just
go.
like, I was like, are you serious? Like, I was just like, is this for
Yo,
real?
yo, fam. Like,
Yeah.
what did you message me? Like, I'm trying to find, trying to find what you messaged me. But like, it was actually Tuesday, because I was in
Oh,
the clinic
yeah.
and I
I think
had
it
to
was a
walk
Tuesday.
out.
Yeah.
See, it's how y'all know I love, my students. But literally, like, I set things up in the clinic, and I had one of my other PTs take care of my patients. I was like, I gotta go. And so I told my team, I was like, yo, listen, if y'all hear me screaming or yelling, or just don't come for me. Don't come for me. I'm excited. So
Okay.
y'all might hear some yelling, y'all might hear some screaming, y'all might hear me lose my mind, but it's all good. It's all good. So I go outside, we get on the phone. I was like, yo, Ariana, what's up? What's up, DP? Like, we got so hyped.
Dude,
Then
I
what
was
happened?
crying. I was
No.
bawling my eyes out.
We had a really good conversation after that. I said, Ariana, listen, there are so many, and this is why you're here tonight. I was like, there are so many pre-PTs that will stop after what happened to you year one. There are even more pre-PTs that would have stopped after what happened to you after year two. And just watching what you've done this year, watching how you've taken a chance on yourself, watching you invest in yourself, watching you say, like, I ain't going down without a fight, watching you claim everything that you want to do even after being a physical therapist. Like, I already know what you're about to do because you told me so many times. Like, watching you put yourself around some of the most powerful people in the profession, like people that had gone through the same frustrations and struggles, people that had 1.8 GPAs after their first year in being a pre-PT, but now becoming multi-business owners. People that have gone through the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, and saying, yo, I just got to put myself around the right people. I just got to put myself around the right community where I have the right guidance, but I just got to keep fighting. And you taught me a lot of things this year. You taught me a lot. You taught me a lot about what it really takes to be an all-star pre-PT. Trust me, I teach a lot, but I also learn a hell of a lot. And I learned a lot from you. And I told you on that same phone call, I said, listen, you better never forget this moment. Because any obstacle you come through when you're in PT school, bump that. You've been through worse. You've been through harder. You've been through more. Any obstacle that you encounter as a physical therapist, you've been through worse. You've been through harder. You've been through more. As an individual, life-wise, you've proven to yourself that your grit, that your perseverance, that the people that you put yourself around, just believing in yourself long enough to get to the other side was worth it. And I was like, yo, somebody has to hear this too. There's somebody that is stuck There's somebody that is like the weight of our own pressure. Somebody has their own self pressure, and then they're like, yo, like maybe I can't do it. Somebody is going through the pressure of having like a family member or family members or friends, or even your own immediate family in terms of like your kids, like if they're looking up to you. Someone is going through that pressure saying, yo, maybe it's easier if I just put physical therapy on pause. It'd be easier to put physical therapy on pause and just take care of these immediate things. I'm not saying don't take care of your family. Take care of your family. Your family is your priority. But I'm saying don't ever give up because don't ever give up because it doesn't look like everybody else. Ariana had classmates that she was going through school with, people that she had just watched go through the process, people that she was watching get accepted, people that she was like, yo, dang it, freaking, like, I work hard too. Like, I deserve it too. And sometimes we feel like there's this feeling that we get, Ariana, where we're like, am I not worth it? Like, is there something I did wrong? Yeah, I got a few things that I could fix. Okay, yeah, but like I'm working my tail off. Like, if these schools could just see what I did after my first, rejections, if they could see how hard I worked towards getting accepted, if they could just see that. This time around, you had moments where you were like, because I saw the messages come through. Fam, I was treating patients, but I was paying attention to you. I like to say I got this Apple Watch just for Ariana, just so I could see what she messaged me. Like, so my patients wouldn't even know that I was looking at messages. Oh dang, she low again. I saw your messages. I saw your messages, and it was just kind of. I was like, yo, just hold on tight. Hold on tight. I was like, yo, you've done everything right this time. I was like, you've done everything right. And when you know as a pre-PT that you've controlled everything that you can control, that you can let things play out the way they need to play out.
Mm-hmm.
When you know that you've put everything in the back, you said, yo, like, I got this bucket of coins, I've put everything in. All you can do is wait now. All you can do, keep the relationships going with the program and do all these different things, but you can only control what you can control. But if as a pre-PT, you're not even controlling that, then you're completely undermining this entire process. Ariana, you deserve to be a physical therapist. And you're about to be a physical therapist. I'm ridiculously proud of you. I'm ridiculously proud of you. Anytime that, honestly, like, when I'm stuck, I'm going to remember your story. I teach people about resiliency and all that stuff, but you straight up demonstrated it through and through. Through and through. So I'm ridiculously proud of you. Keep inspiring the hell out of other pre-PTs. Keep inspiring the heck out of other physical therapy students, other physical therapists. Just keep absolutely destroying it. Nobody can touch you. And if there's anybody else listening to this, this should be an example of how you go about this process. She decided that she wasn't just going to play it the old school way. She wasn't just going to say, well, let's see what my academic advisor says. Let's try this. She said, all right, pull the plug. There's a completely new way of getting into PT school. She invested in herself. She said, I'm worth it. I'm worth investing in. She said that to herself. She said to herself, I'm worth investing in. So she invested in the acceptance system. She invested in SSPT. It's literally led her to have some of the strongest connections that like most people don't use. Like in terms of like who she currently like works with, in terms of Kyle Rice, some of the biggest names in PT right now. Like you've just built this network of people that are just giving you like access to really, honestly, you're setting yourself up to be like a top 10% earner in PT. Just stay on the track you're on right now. Who's gonna touch you? But you invested in you. You said, I'm not pulling the plug for anybody. And for a pre-PT that's willing to do that, and that's willing to be coachable, it's game over. But tonight, Ariana came out to encourage the mess out of you guys. To let you know that it doesn't matter what you're going through right now, there is a way to get out of it. There is a way to get accepted, but it's going to require you buckling up, strapping on your seatbelt and saying, all right, let's go after this. But we can't do it the old school way. Mm-hmm. We can't just rely on faculty members. We can't just rely on admissions. Like it doesn't work anymore. Everybody's doing it, so there's no way to stand out. And that's why the non-traditional approaches that you took really, really fast-tracked your way into physical therapy school. But you also worked hard for that. You worked your tail off for that. Every frustration this year, we had frustrating calls. Well, I was never frustrated. You were. You were a guy that, and we had great calls where there was a lot of energy and excitement and just, but that's just real. That's just real. But you earned every bit of the degree that you're about to get in a few years. And this year is already. You just gotta go through some classes. Just don't get kicked out and all that stuff. And it's yours. It's already yours. Ariana DPT. And those dreams that you already had, those things that you already said, yo, I'm trying to do this and I'll become a physical therapist for your community. And I'm not gonna give them all the secrets because you gotta do your thing. But all those things are now solidified because you kept believing in you. Isn't that crazy? Like we were just talking about it like 6 months ago. We were talking about it. Like, yo, yeah, like I want to do this, Joseph. I want to do that. Like I got these dreams. It's real now.
Yeah, it's moving forward.
It's real. And for you watching right now, your acceptance is just as real. That's why we are locked in on serving you, taking care of you guys. Because once you get into PT school, once you get on the other side, it's game over. It's absolutely game over. And until you get there, we're going to be here. We're not going anywhere. If it's going to take you a few years before you realize that, well, cool. But the faster, the better. But Ariana, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for pushing yourself. Thank you for proving to you.
Yeah.
Thank you for proving to you that you have everything it takes to absolutely destroy it in this profession, to absolutely destroy it amongst really the best that I've seen do it. But you can get whatever you want. Whatever you want, go get it. Go get it. Is there anything for someone that's where you were a year ago now? What is one last thing that you would say to them? Like talk to the Ariana that you saw. Like go back to right before Christmas 2017. Talk to that Ariana. What would you tell her to keep her pushing so that she got to this moment right
now? I think the biggest thing that I have learned within this year and within this whole process is just like having faith and like take the leap sooner than later, because you're just kind of like wasting time and like wasting all this energy that you're putting, just being stubborn about like not like investing in yourself or not seeking help. Like you can fast track it all if you just can like push through like the help and like actually like take that in and actually learn from that. And that's something that I'm trying to apply now in my life with anything, is like just like stop being scared. Like what are you nervous about? Like just go ahead and do it, because in the end, like it's about how you are and like how you're willing to like, I guess, like let people see who you truly are. And that's like, I think that's like my biggest thing, is just to be authentic with yourself, and people will end up liking you for who you are and not so much by something that you're gonna be, I guess, like putting up a face on Instagram or Facebook or something like that. So yeah, just like learning to take the leap is like my biggest thing that I'm gonna continue to do even years from now. Just doing it like Nike.
Exactly. Just do it like Nike.
Yeah.
Take the leap. Take the leap. Take the leap. Y'all have a great evening. Ariana, thank you so much. You're an absolute winner. I mean, I'll be seeing you in a few months anyway. And I hope to see all these other pre-PT winners at Smart Success PT Live. Be here tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I believe it's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope I'm not wrong. 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Be here tomorrow night. If I have the time wrong, somebody just keep an eye out on this page. 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night, we are announcing our top 3 winners for really one, Smart Success PT Live, all expenses paid. This is really like over $1,000 worth. 2, second place is going to get 50% off the accepted system, as well as all of our mini courses included for free. And then third place will get a 30-minute video call with myself and Casey together in the same place, which we've really never done that for anybody, not even Ariana. So you're getting a special. So have a great evening. Have a very, 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 very happy holiday. But we'll see you tomorrow night anyway. Ariana, thank you very much. Everyone else, have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.